To say that Trump's comments about the economy over the last few days strain credulity would be a massive, massive understatement.
Go ahead. Anybody? I have a lot of things that are happening, a lot of good things. The economy is doing unbelievably from the standpoint of Wall Street. We just set another record, as you know.
I'm so sorry. I try to avoid posting clips where people have to look at his face and listen to his voice, but I'm going to show you one more. And then that's it for this video, I promise, but I think it's important.
So, for you to pay a tiny little bit more for your gasoline, just remember, you're doing it so that a very evil country cannot have... A country, really, it's the number one state sponsor of terror in the world.
No.
We don't want to have them have a nuclear weapon. So remember that when you have to pay a little bit more, you're at $4. It's okay. I mean, it's, I'll never apologize. I did the right thing. But you could, if you didn't have...
Now, for a while, we've seen members of Trump's regime, sycophants, who will do his bidding, continually gaslighting the average American, telling us that the economy is great. We shouldn't be complaining because it is an honor to pay higher gas prices so that Trump can wage an endless war at Bibi Netanyahu's request, right? Demand. And we hear them telling us that actually the economy is booming. Everything is wonderful. Sure, we don't want to put out accurate jobs reports, and we fired all kinds of people who report reliably on what's happening in the economy, but we're telling you that it's great because for us, the super rich, the stock market is going gangbusters because war, because AI bubble, because grift, graft, and corruption from the regime, which benefits corporations, right? Like corporations are able to skirt all kinds of environmental policies have been destroyed, right? All kinds of regulation has been obliterated. That increases their profit margin and it benefits the stock market. But who controls the majority of the stock market? When we're hearing Trump say shit like this, like, oh, the stock market is doing great, who benefits from that? Who benefits from that? Well, did you know that the richest 10% of Americans own 87% of the stocks, and the richest 1% of Americans control 50% of the stock market? So of course, all of the billionaire class is doing great right now. All of the Epstein class is living high on the hog, making a shit ton of money in the stock market, and also tons of your taxpayer dollars are going into their pockets as well. And so everything is fabulous, right? Donald Trump says you guys should all be happy. And we're here saying, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't have access to all of that wealth that is being siphoned up out of the working class and pumped up through the stock market into the bank accounts of the Epstein class. I'm not experiencing a great economy. None of that greatness I was promised is lived out in any way in my community. Every American is struggling. Our bank accounts are smaller. Our children are hungrier. We have less access to wealth, less access to healthcare, less access to jobs. Everything is more expensive, from gas to rent to food to healthcare. So who the fuck does Trump think he is with this bullshit? This gaslighting doesn't work anymore. There's a point at which, dear leader with his big, massive lie that he thinks can hoodwink everybody starts to collapse. It starts to fall apart when what he is spouting out of his mouth does not align with the material conditions of the working class. When the people say, you're telling me everything is great and I can't make rent and I can't feed my children and I am struggling harder now than I ever have before, then what do you mean the economy is booming? What do you mean everything is wonderful?
I start by not gaslighting. The president made a mistake, in my opinion, last week, saying we've got the greatest economy in the history of the world, and prices for groceries and gasoline and everything are coming down rapidly. That's not the experience of the American people.
That was Karl Rove, by the way. So, yeah, yeah, even Republican strategists understand that this kind of rhetoric is no longer able to convince people. The big lie falls apart. Make America great again falls apart because Donald Trump is now saying, we're great. This is greatness. We're wealthy. We're prosperous. Everything is amazing. And that's not what you're living day to day. You can't be gaslit in the same way. So I saw some folks earlier today who were chatting about this on Blue Skies. We were driving home from Newport, and I was trying not to get car sick, but I was also checking Blue Sky. They were saying, like, what is Trump doing here? What's going on? Does he not understand that this is just pissing off people right and left because they feel that they're being gaslit? They know that they're being gaslit, and they feel that their concerns are not being listened to, right? The whole reason, the main reason, there's multiple reasons, but the main reason so many working class people supported Trump is because he acted like he was listening to them. He said, I'm going to bring down grocery prices. I'm going to make eggs cheap on day one, right? I'm going to fix everything. I'm going to make America great for you. I acknowledge that when Joe Biden said the economy was booming and was great, you didn't experience that in your real life. When we had Barack Obama saying everything is wonderful and, everything is fantastic. You weren't experiencing that in West Virginia. You weren't experiencing that in Arkansas. You were experiencing poverty. And I, Donald Trump, am going to lie through my fucking teeth and tell you that I am a populist, that I care about the working class, and I'm going to fix it all for you. So he's the guy who said, I hear you when you say that it sucks for you and I'm going to make it better. He has turned into, well, he's revealed his true colors, right? He's now the guy who's saying, I am going to tell you that everything is great and I'm not going to listen to you when you tell me that you're struggling, right? They thought he would listen and he would fix it. They thought establishment Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, were not listening. Joe Biden wasn't listening. And now Donald Trump is not listening, so that the grift doesn't, the con doesn't work anymore. So why is he still doing it? Why is Trump still doing it? Well, because, he's a demented narcissist and he's only got so many recycled, talking points that are not complete word salad. But I think there's another layer to this. I know I've mentioned it before. In Gene Sharp's book, From Dictatorship to Democracy, he talks about the weaknesses of dictators and how we need to exploit those, right? And how they have profound blind spots and weaknesses. And some of those are caused because the dear leader is volatile, angry, a malignant narcissist, and those in his inner circle are afraid to present him with a full picture of what's going on, afraid to give him all of the analyses and all of the data because he will lash out. Trump has been known to have angry tirades against those who work for him. He's been known to fire people on a whim, and he's been known to seek out really severe revenge, right? Extremely, extremely punitive. Threats, violence, intimidation. That's what he loves, right? So people don't want to tell him because they don't want to be the focus of his ire. But there's another layer to it as well, which is that he's surrounded by all of these extremely wealthy advisors, right? People in his inner circle, all of the billionaires, all of the Elon Musks and all of the tech bros, and all of the greedy, coal company CEOs are telling him everything is amazing. And he's taking in those data points with all of the corruption he and his sons are engaged in, and also Ivanka as well. His family is prospering to the tune of billions and billions of dollars. So he has this skewed data set. The information that he gets is really siloed. He has this strong confirmation bias. Those who are advising him, those who are pushing him to sign certain executive orders and push certain agendas, they're all doing great. And he's not taking in information from the working class. He's not getting the negative polling. He's not getting those other perspectives and viewpoints. And when a dictator has such a significant blind spot, that is a massive weakness. What we're seeing right now is the working class understanding that there is a clear class divide. We see people gaining class consciousness because there's an obvious divide between what those in power, the Epstein class, are saying. They're doing great while you are doing really fucking miserable, right? Worse than you have in maybe a decade or more. But what else? How else do we harness that weakness, that blind spot, that profound weakness in the dictator? How do we turn that into a strength for our resistance? What is the path forward for us? What is the messaging? How do we utilize this disconnect to our benefit in order to restore democracy, in order to get the kinds of reforms that working class people need so that we aren't struggling while the 1% is living in lavish opulence?